Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the opportunity to wave onto this hearing today. This proposed rule is incredibly impactful to my district in South Carolina. COVID brought out outside recreation again. People were golfing, people were going out, they're kayaking. They're also going out on boats, they're going fishing. And in my region of South Carolina, we saw tremendous growth in this industry. It's always been the lifeblood of our economy, tourism. People travel from all over the country to come to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina every single year. And one of the things that they do is they go fishing. The Gulf Coast is 75 to 100 miles off the coast of South Carolina. And this proposed rule, sir, instead of taking 3 hours to get to the Gulf Stream, it would take 5 to 6. And so there's an article that was in Savannah, Georgia, in Buddy Carter's district, and somebody says, quote, "We go out up to 100 miles off the Gulf Stream. It takes us 3 hours. They do this, and it will take 5 to 6 to get out there. 99% of people will just say, we'd rather not go fishing." So there's going to be tremendous impacts because of this. And I fear that we are taking an axe to where we need a scalpel. Everyone wants to protect this endangered species, but I don't think that the data backs up what we're actually doing. In my district of South Carolina, Mickey Thompson, the owner of Sportsman's Choice Marine in Long, South Carolina, said this: "It would be devastating to my business. One of my best-selling boats is a 39-foot boat, and we sell boats up to 44 feet in length. We would lose close to $8 million just with my dealership alone. My fear is not losing new customers, but previous customers' boat values would also drop dramatically. This rule would not only kill my business, but other businesses in the 7th Congressional District of South Carolina, from charter captains, commercial seafood folks, and the tourism business that accommodate many around here." Mr. Chairman, I request unanimous consent to enter into the record an op-ed in the Charleston Post and Courier. "NOAA's proposed vessel speed rule would devastate South Carolina's coastal economy."
Without objection.
Thank you. Ms. Gaius, in your testimony, you provide the figure that recreational fishing contributes $148 billion to the U.S. economy annually. Many boaters in my district participate in the South Carolina Wahoo Series annually. It runs from February to April every year, which stands to be heavily impacted by this proposed rule. If this rule were enacted regarding the vessel strikes, is it feasible for this tournament to continue in its current form?
I don't think it would. I mean, folks that are out wahoo fishing, they've got to run quite a ways out, similar to the gentleman that you quoted in the article.
How much money do you think would local tackle shops, hotels, charter captains, restaurants stand to lose if this rule was implemented?
It's a lot. I'd put it in the millions, for sure.
Mr. Strong, I'd like to ask you about the initial regulatory flexibility analysis completed by NMFS that found that the proposed rule would only have a $46 million annual impact. In your testimony, you note that would actually be closer to $2 billion. Similarly, the South Carolina Boating and Fishing Alliance estimated that it would have a $77 million impact just in our state alone in boat sale losses in their members' current inventory. Can you explain some of the disparities between these two findings?
I'll do my best. How they arrived at the $46 million number, quite frankly, I don't know. I do know that, again.
That might be like one city, right?
Yeah, our industry, the marine recreational industry, was not involved in collaborative conversations. So our determination was from sampling our dealers along the East Coast who would be directly impacted by this if it were to go through. And we kind of came up with a number that seemed like a conservative number of a $4 million revenue loss per dealer. $4 million, I think it was 4.1 something, but rounded 4 million times 500 dealers, $2 billion, we believe is a conservative loss number, and that's how we arrived at our data. And that's annual, that's not cumulative, that's annual. Our fear is that it would actually become a lot worse than that because, as Ms. Geis said earlier, tournaments, things that people invest a lot of money in to purchase a boat because that's part of what they really enjoy doing, that they're going to just get out. They're not going to do it because it's the time is one aspect, but the safety is another. Some people referenced they were avid boaters before. Anybody who's an avid boater, if you know you're 80 miles offshore and you're restricted to traveling 10 knots, and all of a sudden, the wind in the afternoon picks up to 25 knots, it is totally dangerous and unsafe to travel in 10 knots, 80 miles offshore in a 25-knot wind.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.